man, this has been, I don't know. This is such a incredible story that I don't know what to even make of it. There are so many parts that I still have questions, and I'm sure if I have missed questions, I'm dropping the link, guys, if y'all want to come up, that I want him to answer. But I feel like this a whole Wednesday night Bible study. This a whole Wednesday night. Y'all didn't know y'all was coming to Bible study. Y'all welcome. Yeah, it is nourishing my spirit, which I had the intent of. And I'm wondering, like, there's so many other parts. Oh, y'all in the back. Yes, come on up, come on up, come on up, come on up. Give him a second because I'm sure I told him to bring his water. Thank you, first of all, for my Cash App. Thank you for showing love. Charles Brooks, thank you so much for your Cash App. Y'all know if you are enjoying this type of content, I ain't passing no offer. I ain't passing no offering plate, but y'all can support if you want, if you feel led, if the church feel led. Again, if you're jumping on late, I see so many people pop in, pop out, go through, go up, go down. So I'm seeing we're holding steady with quite a few people in the chat. So thank you so much for watching, tuning in. I know, shout out to my my homegirl, Miss B Finesse. I'll be on her show tomorrow at, I believe we're like 1 or 1:30. Then I have my stream at 7 p.m. Yes, we are heavy. We're building a community here among those of us who are a part of the Lead Attorneys YouTube Academy. So she's one of the wonderful other beginning YouTubers, new YouTubers that I've met, and I'll be doing an interview with her. She'll be interviewing me, I should say. I'm excited about that for tomorrow, 1 o'clock, 1:30. So shout out to Miss B Finesse. If y'all want to show some love, y'all know the super chat, thanks to you, it has been activated. If you like this type of content, you want to support Black media, you want to support positive representations of Black culture, shout me out and support your girl. I really want to see where we can take this, and I'm grateful for all the support I've received so far. So Brooks from the ATL saying love from the ATL with the Cash App, my brother. Thank you so much for showing love. Links is back. I see you, Links. I know you had to take, I was like, I had you on the hot seat. I had to get up and stretch 2 times too, so don't worry. I don't know how TLA does it with his hips because I got to stretch and get my back right. I can't be sitting in this chair this whole time. Got me going to the chiropractor. But yeah, show some love, please. Hit that like, please. We need more people to see content.
Yeah, hit the like button. Yes.
Hit that like, y'all know what it is. I'm so grateful. We're going right to the guests in the back. I see TJ. I see you in the back. I thought Gorilla was in the back. Maybe he got dropped off. But I want to also hear your reaction to some of this. Links, I'm going to let you finish up your story. Then we're going to take some audience participation, please. So Links, I'm bringing you back up now. Thank you, my brother.
Hey, so yeah, so we decide now to date, and that was interesting. I don't know if we can really say we dated, but this was just our looking back at this, Suzette. It was literally an arranged marriage. God literally arranged this. This was not anything that I couldn't even create a lie this good. He literally arranged the marriage. And as I said, my wife was a virgin at the time. I was not a virgin. So I'm a young man. I'm in my prime.
Like, you didn't have to tell us that. I think we got the fetish. You was having your hot boy summer. Let's go.
Look.
Okay, sorry. I'm sorry. In my head, I was like, "Now you know, you didn't have to tell us that." Okay, but yes, thank you for making that clear. Thank you, sir. Go ahead. Sorry.
So I mean, we dated, and we saw each other. I mean, I was, again, I'm working. I'm still working at the bank, so we really only got a chance to see each other on the weekend. So we see each other every weekend, and I proposed to her, and we're preparing for the wedding, and we're seeing each other, and we would see each other. I'd go to her parents' house and we hanging out. We were semi Netflix. We were almost Netflixing and chilling. Things would get, I'm just being transparent, things would get hot and heavy on that couch. And I would have to get up. I'm just telling you, I'm being honest with you.
No, keep it real, bro. Keep it real.
My wife was fine. Like, shoo, my wife
fine. That brown skin, that melanin was popping. That melanin was calling. Like, Lord Jesus, man,
she got me. She got me. She had this burnt orange I don't know, it was like almost like a tracksuit, yoga pant type thing. I don't know why she decided to wear that in front of me. I'm like, my
Do you
wife
know what that?
slim as my wife was slim as nice, looked nice already. And you know, um she was my wife was looking good. And it got hot and heavy. And now this is gonna sound crazy. So we dating, and it almost went there. One night I almost went there, and I got up and I got up and I left. And I got in the car, and this is gonna sound crazy. I got in the car and I heard God speak to me audibly. I heard it from behind me. It was like somebody was in the back seat of the car, and I heard, "Don't disrespect my daughter." And
The
talk
audible
about
voice of God. That
I
time you heard him straight up.
I heard him straight. I was shook. I was
Mm.
shook.
Mm.
We didn't kiss again. I didn't kiss her again after I heard that. I didn't From the time I heard that to the time we got married. I did not kiss her again, because I know them lips was nice, and I would have set me up. No, so I
But
this
the
and
Holy Spirit had your back. Hallelujah.
all I can say, it was God, for God to
So
keep a
let me
brother.
just ask you. So you were disciplined that entire time. Y'all never
Nope,
passed the threshold, if you
nope,
will.
nope,
God is good.
nope,
So you
nope.
stayed faithful. She stayed faithful to
Yep.
y'all's beliefs. Oh wow,
Yes.
that's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. And
So
again,
right to
I
the
wasn't
altar.
really.
How long was that between the engagement and the when you got married?
It was a year and a half. And
Wow.
the crazy thing was what happened. We were engaged. We were coming close to the time of the engagement, and her brother passed. Um, right, maybe a few months before we were engaged, and so her brother passed. So that ended up pushing the wedding back. And at the time, now I'd taken on a new position in the bank. I was making a little bit more money, but I'm like, okay, I'm getting married, but I'm just being honest. I'm like, okay, I didn't know how we were going to pay for this stuff. And this is where I'm saying God was all in this. And we were at a Bible study again, and my best friend, we were praying, and my best friend says to me, God said, I heard God say to me, he said he's going to pay for the wedding down to the last penny. And I'm like, okay. Because
Y'all
at that
getting
point,
words left and right, bro. Can I get
yeah,
a word, please?
at,
Wow.
at yeah, at
Wow.
that point, her father had secured the wedding venue, but that was it. We had not paid. We hadn't, no decorations, no, food wasn't paid for, none of that stuff. Honeymoon, we didn't have funds for the honeymoon. And God took me for those months that we were waiting. God started to teach me about faith. And the crazy thing was, and this is where, God does stuff, it's supernatural. It's not just a spiritual thing. There's a super and there's the natural that work intertwined. It's a mystery of God. I don't know how God does it, but he started giving me ideas at work. And these were money saving ideas. The bank I was working at was, you submit an idea that could save the bank money. They were going to give you some money. So at that time, gotten an idea, and I submitted the idea, and I think I got like $1,000 for the idea. And taking a little detour here, real quick, Suzette, I got the idea, and I was like, man, okay, great. I got
Mm-hmm.
this money. It's going to be, for the wedding. And I said, okay, I got to tithe off of it. I got to give, I wanted to get, I'm like, I was still gun ho. I want to give some money. And um, this is one night we were at, they're having prayer at church, and we're at church, and God speaks to me and tells me to write out a check for $600. I just got $1,000, and he tells me to write out a check for $600. And I'm like, what? And I get out, I leave the church, I go into the car, and I start talking to God. And I'm like, God, hold up. you want me to give this man $600? I'm like, how about if I give him 200 this week? I get paid, this, we need this. And I'm starting trying to negotiate with God. He was like, nope. And I didn't have peace. He would not leave me alone. I wrote the check out for $600. I go back into the church, and this is during a prayer meeting, whatever. And I go up and I give him one of them quote unquote holy handshakes. I slip him this check in his hand, and I walk back to my seat. He was up near the front. I walk back to the back, and I sit back. I'm standing back there, and I see him, you know, open the check up and look at it, and I see his head drop. And he immediately gets out of the seat and walks back towards me and tells me to come outside. And he says to me, you have no idea what you did. You gave me $20 over what I needed, and I needed this money by tomorrow. And that was like, okay, that showed me that was a lesson in faith that God told me he's going to provide and pay for our wedding. And then he shows me how he provides for other people through giving that money to somebody else. $600. That's $600. I got 1,000. And he told me, and I gave it,
This is
so
wild. Links, I'm gonna let someone come up. TJ's been waiting patiently. I know when you get the urge to come up, and then in the middle of like coming up, you've moved on to another topic. Yeah. I don't want to get too far because this is good. And I see Grandma Levin talking about obedience over sacrifice. So Ace, I think, wrote, can Links come back and talk about the effects of obedience? They said, Suzette, you need to start a spiritual channel separate from this channel. But we're going to sprinkle it in because that's who I am too. That's definitely my foundation. So TJ, I'm going to bring you up. Welcome to the platform, Suzette Speak Show. Hey, TJ, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you doing?
Excellent, my love. What do you think of the show so far?
Listen.
Can you believe it?
Mr. Links. Okay, listen, you done took me back. I don't know how old you are, but I'm 54. And the 80s and the 90s was the boy.
Yep.
Boy, you took me back. The summer loves.
Yeah.
Letters.
Yeah.
You took me back. I'm sorry. You did.
It's all good.
But
tell us your thoughts. I'm gonna give you the solo. Go ahead.
Okay, so Suzette, I was like, okay, listen, you keep cutting it off at the good parts. I'm like, I'm chopping at the bit here. Stop it.
I can't help it. I'm like, ooh, hold it right there.
I'm like, but to God be the glory is what I have to say. To God be the glory.
Absolutely.
You're so right that, the love story that you may end up having, or the love testimony you may end up sharing, may not be, unicorns and rainbows like we're taught, but it's still beautiful. And I was saying that, the reason why that, Links and his wife didn't come together all those times that he had been reaching out to her is because in as much as God had told him that she was his wife, they weren't ready for each other at that time.
That's a word. Oh my. Oh my.
They weren't ready. And like, you're like, what the hell? I'm not ready. You told me. So, but you guys had to be ready at the same time.
Yep.
And oh my gosh. And then life, it has detours.
It does.
It has detours.
Yeah.
And I get emotional because, I'm 54. I didn't get married and find the love of my lifetime until 3 years ago.
Wow. Wonderful though. Wonderful.
Congratulations.
Wow.
So again, but nothing was wasted though. Because again, all the tears I cried. I ain't gonna tell everybody.
Trust me, I did it right here on YouTube. If y'all didn't see my show, Love for Ambitious Women, I had a moment.
I
almost flipped out. I said, and I've never, how much people I've talked about to my friend group I talked to about that. I said, I've been doing workshops, conferences, and I always recognize when that's going to happen to somebody else. Women come to my stuff and break down all the time. It ain't never happened to me. And I said, God, you're going to put me on YouTube and let me have a deep-seated reaction to clearly something I felt some type of way about. that I
How
didn't even
about two
recognize.
of my sorority sisters that have been married for over 20 years got together with their husbands because of me. And I'm
No
the one that
way.
wasn't
Mm.
married.
You're like,
Okay.
I'm tired of being a bridesmaid. I'm tired of-
You know,
Trust
but you're
me,
so right.
ladies, if you can relate, let us know, because trust me, I hear what you're saying so loud and clear. But God is still faithful. And may I ask you
Yeah.
how you found your husband? Just curious, because some of us single ladies want to know, inquiring minds want to know. Where
Well,
did you guys meet?
a shameless plug. I talk about our love story on my channel,
Oh, okay. No, no,
but
no. Shout you out.
we met online, interestingly enough.
No
Okay.
way.
And I have
Like
to
a like
tell
a like
you,
a like a Tinder?
you know, it's funny because neither one of us knew that the site that we were on was notorious for hookups.
No, wait,
We
what were we talking
know
about? Plenty of
plenty of
fish?
fish. Plenty of fish. Neither one of us knew. We didn't know.
That's
So
funny. Y'all
yes,
was swimming with the fish and y'all didn't know what
didn't
was
know.
going on, but y'all found each
Hey.
other. God is good.
And
Wow.
he found out about the site because he watched it on Judge Mathis when two people were suing each other. He didn't think it was a real site. But
That's
so
funny.
but that's how we found each. And here's the thing, ladies, and I've said this, and I want to share
Mhm.
this with you too, Suzette.
Absolutely.
I've had a 20 plus military career. I was in the I just retired from civil service, just actually thanks to my husband to let me do it. Um, but when he saw my profile, he looked at my profile, but he didn't reach out to me.
Mm.
So when I went to my profile to see who had looked at me and I saw he did, I went to his profile and I saw this beautiful smile and saw he was a truck driver. And so when we started communicating, I asked him, I said, I saw that you looked at my profile, but why didn't you reach out to me? He says, well, I didn't think you'd be interested in a blue collar truck driver like me.
Mm.
What? Wow. If I hear that one more time.
Mm.
Because here, and that's what I talk about. Women, sometimes we lead with our accomplishments because my profile was all about I'm a military officer in 2 branches of the military. I have this degree. I have this. I've done this. I'm an independent. So I led with that.
Mm. I hear you.
I led with that.
Mm-hmm, 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 mm-hmm.
So when he looked at what I led with, he's now, well, shoot, what was she, why would she find something,
Yep.
in a truck driver?
Mm.
So I almost missed out on the love of my lifetime leading with the wrong stuff. I'm just saying.
That's a word. That's a
I'm
word,
just
TJ. That's
saying.
a word.
So we talked, and I love when you talked about, and this is why I really want the young people to get it. Even though it was in the 80s and the 90s, you and your wife had conversations.
That's it.
You
Yeah.
wrote letters. And mind you, that's what we had to do, but it's still relevant. I
Yeah,
just did a
absolutely.
show the other day about love songs. Me and my husband still send love songs to each other because he's on the road. We send love songs to each other. I
Mm.
still have his handwritten note that he wrote me after our second date.
There's still romance, Lord. Thank
It
you.
is.
That's beautiful.
And you
Ay,
said
ay, ay.
your son laughed at the letter, but tell him, hey,
No, keep that thing.
that'll
It's
set
a
him
beautiful
aside from the
thing.
other men. That's for sure.
Exactly. Exactly. You gotta have some game, they said. You gotta have some game. You better put it on
Yes. So I love your story. And I would love,
paper.
Chicago Rilla said, Auntie TJ, you should have him on your show. So if you would, I would love to have you to get a
Ah,
man's
look at
perspective. I would
you.
love it. And you
Sure.
know what? Because I did an interview with my husband to talk about what men look, because men look at things differently than us.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
So I would love to have you on to get another male's perspective, but I'm just so inspired and so encouraged by your story. And I want, men and women to see, okay, yeah, it don't always come the way you want it, but it's so sweet when you get it.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
thank you, TJ. I
Thank
appreciate that.
you.
Shout out to TJ. Y'all check out, what's your channel called?
Mosaic with TJ Randolph. I think one
Mosaic.
of your mods put me in the
Oh yeah,
put
please
in the
drop
chat.
her. Thank you so much for coming up, TJ. I've enjoyed
Thank
talking to
you.
you. Come up anytime. Appreciate
Okay,
the
bye-bye.
wisdom. Thank you. Bye now.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Woo, okay, y'all. I'm gonna be on Plenty of Fish tomorrow. Not the Plenty of Fish. Didn't even know it was fishing. Hello.
Hey.
God
Hey.
has his hand out though. Like she was there, he was there, and she got a word there about leading with accomplishments. Even though in my mind, again, men can see it differently. I'm gonna evaluate that because I think that is a big deal, and I think sometimes we're not even intentional We're not trying to, but it may seem that way.
I'm
And
gonna say this.
I'm gonna eat that, chew on that a little bit more. Go ahead.
I'll say this: men and you know, I know we in the space of this alpha, sigma, beta, theta, you know,
And
omega,
simp.
yeah, simp, all that stuff. Men need to know that they are needed and can be needed. So if a woman is leading with her accomplishments, where what space can I fill in
I'll
that
tell you what
woman's life?
space.
You
I'll
know,
tell you.
I mean, but if that is
Sorry,
what's
but
put
I'd be
out,
like, dude, like,
if
hello.
that's yeah, if that's what's put out, it's like no. I mean, there's nothing that I can offer. You know, at least that's the appearance that is placed out. There's nothing that I can offer. So it's like no. I mean, men have a need as much as we don't want to
No.
say.
That's real. That's definitely
We
real.
need to know that we are needed in
So you're
some.
saying beyond physical need.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Mm.
That's God. The way that we are wired in such a way that we are givers. We are anatomically wired that way. We are, you know, mentally wired that way. We are givers. That is part of our makeup as a man. That's why when men can't provide and can't give, they feel less of a man.
Absolutely.
So
But my
when
thing is, if I reach out to you and I'm checking for you, why wouldn't you think I wouldn't want you? Like that I wouldn't need you. I find that perplexing to me. Maybe I'm missing it. But I'm always like, but bro, I reached out to you. I thought you was cool. But then it can feel as if, all right, that's a whole nother conversation. But okay, Links, you might have to talk to me offline and give me some deep thought.
all
I
right,
appreciate you. I see the back is open, you guys. We'll take a few more people. Gorilla, Chicago Gorilla
uh
is
oh,
in the building.
uh
Don't
oh,
make no, yeah.
uh oh.
First of all, he's had some of the best comments in the stream.
Oh,
First of all, thanks again for TJ coming up, blessing us. Everybody's talking about the 90s out. The 90s was so great. I thought it was Christian Mingle too. When she said it, I thought it was Christian Mingle too. I'm 50 and single. Hey, all right, Ebony. And look, she got married 3 years ago. So I find that very you know, there's promise. I see it like yeah, so funny. Thank you. Dre Terry, appreciate you. Thanks for the super chat. Facts. That was a beautiful moment, Suzette. Dope. Thank you so much. Yeah, we got to learn from one another. Cross genders, cross generation, cross everything. Not everything that is old is far gone, right? It's some things about you, like we're saying, how men are wired, women are wired. That ain't changed that much. That we
no,
can
no,
learn and pick up some good
yeah.
solid advice from. So I'm gonna let since he's here, Chicago Rilla Wagwan. Hello.
Watagwan Star. You hear me? Big up on yourself. Big up on yourself.
Big up on the set.
Big up.
Eh?
Brap,
Eh?
brap.
Eh?
Brap. Yeah.
Sir, you get the award for the best commentary throughout this stream. Thank you very much. How you doing today?
Absolutely not. No, absolutely not. I'm rooting for everybody black. Suzette, I saw you. I caught wind of you on TLA joint. Yo, you absolutely 1000% did your thing. So
Thank
y'all
you.
forgive me if I'm struggle streaming because I'm on the way to the crib. But
It's all good.
you know, I just wanted people in the chat to know, like, Lynx is my guy. I had no idea he was pulling up on you, but the conversations that me and dude had, and I've known him for decades, and
Oh wow.
the amount of wisdom that he has poured into me over the years, and even as I've been on my YouTube journey, on certain platforms, the moments where he will check me and hold me accountable behind the scenes. I just want y'all to know, like, the way that he's speaking on this platform right now is 1000% authentic, true, and there's no cap in nothing what he's saying. Nothing that he's saying is nothing that I haven't heard before. So it's not like he's fabricating any part of his story. He's not embellishing anything to make anything look pretty or cute or anything like that. And Suzette, you know, honestly,
Mhm.
here's the thing. I posted in the chat that like this is the female version of TLA. And here's the thing. On TLA's channel, he started out one way and then he had to pivot
Mm.
when I don't know if it was a demand, but I guess the audience responded. But I can
Yes.
just tell you, like, the energy in the chat and from what people are saying, and even if you look at your ratio of likes to people that are viewing, you are killing it. And this type of conversation is needed in this space.
Oh, thank
There's
you.
so
Thank
much
you.
chatter going on with men around um we don't need women and
Hmm.
and you know we can
Yeah,
without
I've
women
noticed.
and and what is a God anyway? You can't prove God exists. I can't disprove God exists. And what Lynx was talking about, I was in Atlanta around that time. That was a time where we practiced the presence of God. Anything was possible around that time.
Hmm.
God,
Mm.
listen, Suzette. God could drop something in your spirit at any moment. Why? Because we were taught during that time the act of you breathing, inhale and exhale is practice of the presence of God.
My goodness. Don't
Hmm.
And we
start.
don't have
Don't
that
start.
today,
Don't
man.
start. Don't
I know,
start
I
nothing
know, I
with
know,
me,
I
man.
know, I know, I know,
No,
I know.
listen, that root, what you
Softest
talked
hacky,
about runs
softest
deep.
hacky.
Mm. No, but
So
it's a good thing to have an awareness of, because
yeah,
I think, especially when I was in that season where I was so keen on an awareness, looking for God in any and every place,
any
anywhere,
space.
anything
Yep,
I do, He shows
yes,
up.
ma'am.
Yep.
It's
Yep,
so weird that now when I'm like, lackadaisical for me in my walk is how I feel. It's
yep,
not, I feel like a distance. I know God
yep.
is everywhere, and they said nothing can separate me
Mhm.
from his love, and I'm literally riding that grace and grandma's prayers. But I hear you, and I think that that
It may be
reawakening
meant
is
for
going to
you.
be good for me and for someone else watching.
Be meant
That
for
it's
you.
it's a
People are
beautiful thing. It's
hungry.
a pure thing. Mm.
Yep. The
So thank
people
you
are
for that.
hungry. And if you look at the chat, the people are responding and the people are hungry. I might be struggle streaming. I apologize, but
No, you're
the
good. You're good.
people
I didn't want to interrupt, but I was listening.
no, no, no. I was just saying the people are hungry, and that's why
Mm,
they're saying, "Hey, Suzette, you may need to do a different version of this because they're getting fed." And what's crazy is,
mm.
I prayed for Links to bring the word today because he's been
Ah.
quiet for so long. He's been patient on the
Mm,
sidelines for so long, and I'm like, fam, you can't just keep giving me this. You got to give because he wait till he goes into mentorship. Wait till he goes in and breaks down what mentorship is, fam. Wait till he
yes.
goes into that. But
No,
thank
I
you
could
for
tell that he's the real deal. Thank you, Chicago Gorilla.
no
I
thank
thought I would
yeah
have come.
thank you for allowing me on the platform, man. I
No, no,
appreciate
you're
you.
fantastic because we need people to co-sign that. Yo, what you see is what you get. So that's exciting.
More
And
super
look,
chats
he's already
soon
gotten
come.
another
More super
invite.
chats.
Yeah, more super chat. Appreciate you. Thanks for
Big up
coming
on
through.
yourself.
Big up yourself too. Thank you very much, Chicago
Yes,
Gorilla. I love that. Look, your brethren had to come up and was like, yo,
that's
what
my
you see is
boy.
what you get. This is my boy. This is real. Y'all go way back, sounds like.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
wow.
That's
Wow.
my
So
boy. We have some good conversations.
it sounds like it. I can tell you're just a deep individual. Like even from when we first had our little quick prep call, I was like, oh yeah, he's taking this very seriously. So I'm gonna read a few more chats. If y'all
Okay.
want to come on, I'm definitely open. Link say he's good, so I'm gonna drop the StreamYard again. So if you want to come up, make your comments. Links, I want to get back to your story. People are
Yeah.
asking why do men think that we don't need them if we are, saying that we are whoever we are with our paperwork or whatever, because clearly we need them. I kind of feel like it's unspoken. Duh, I need you,
But
right? But maybe not.
communication happens on three levels. You
Mm,
communicate by word, you communicate by word, you communicate by spirit, and you communicate by deed.
mm,
So on some level, people talk about folks' energy and stuff like that. There is in some way, shape, or form there people are communicating to others. There's body language that folks read. You know, uh, emotions, all kind of stuff. You could be saying one thing, out of your mouth, but something, your body may be saying something else. You could be saying, you could be, again, you reach out to somebody, you're on a dating platform or whatever, and you make the move to reach out to somebody, but as TJ said, your profile is saying something else, and it's showing, that, so it's a mixed signal, and
Don't let it confuse us. All right, so you got to be careful. You're not, your body and your mind and your spirit not saying something different.
yeah,
I hear you. I hear you.
you have to be,
Your mouth, out of your mouth, you can be
congruent.
saying it, but what other things, deeds, as you're saying, can show maybe I don't. I'm aware, and I'm going to be more aware of that. I like that, and thank you for asking that. Key. I'll fill the space. Sorry, Doug. I'm sorry. That was a little off color. I'm sorry. That was sorry. Okay. Sorry. I will keep it a little bit more PC. So true women usually want to date above, not lower. I was going back and talking to some of my mentors about this because professional women marrying, if you will, working class men is nothing new, particularly in the Black community. This has been happening for some time. I don't know why we acting like, oh, this never happens, and people, oh, okay, wait, hold on, TJ back. TJ, you came back. You want to come back? All right. You press the button, or you that was an accident. TJ, you back? Okay, you back. Come on, TJ.
Yeah, you done made me come back. You done made me
Maybe
come
it's
back.
a good, yeah, because I'm there asking about it. So I don't want to be like, you're living this.
And see, Links,
Go
tell me
ahead.
if I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm
Okay.
wrong. We've got men on the panel.
Yep.
You say, women say, why do they think we don't need them when we do? We say we need them, but Links is on the mark. We say it, but what are we doing? And what I mean by that is because particularly if we've been single for a long time, we know nothing but to do it, as opposed to falling back, letting them do it. Because we as women, especially if we've been single for a long time, we think we don't intend to run roughshod over our men, but because we're doing it like this, if they don't do it that way, we have a tendency to want to take it over because we've been used to doing it.
I hear you.
And we and see my catchphrase for this past week is how we play ourselves.
Please explain.
Because we say we want a man to do stuff, but then we don't let him do it.
No, we gotta let him do it. No, period. I hear you.
And also, we women, hey, listen, I have a couple of degrees. I'm an oldest of my siblings. I was a single mom. I was in the military, 2 branches of the military. I get I'm pretty, pretty whatever. They don't care. They really don't care.
Yeah,
and
they don't care about. That's what I've been hearing. This is what I'm understanding.
They don't. And I was saying, my husband and I have been together for 3 years, been married for 2. I just retired, like I said, because of him, I was able to do so. But the whole time, you can look up how much money I make. If you knew what my grade was in the federal government, you can see it. But my husband never asked, never knew how much I made because he never cared.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a good thing. Yeah, I think I hear you.
But we're so used to being in charge, we don't know how not to be. And that's how we play ourselves. I'm just saying.
You might have to come on and do a that's a whole nother can of worms. But I hear you.
Am I right, Mr. Links?
No,
I don't think you're wrong. Because I've seen it maybe I need to see it within myself, but I see it when it comes to my girlfriends and people who are dating and other people. I'd be like, yo, load him on. Don't answer back. That was a rhetorical question. Just let him. I don't care how he does whatever it is, fill in the blank. Just let him do it. You asked him to do it. So now don't come back and say you don't like how he did it. He didn't do it right. He didn't do it your way. Whatever. Just, I hear you and I see it in practice as well. Link, sorry. Go ahead with your.
No, I just how I would say it this way is that pride gives off an air of it's off-putting. Pride is off-putting, whereas humility is attractive, and that is something that both sides need to express. The word bless
openly and outwardly to one another.
The word to bless or bless in the ancient Hebrew, in the Hebrew language, and if you look at the actual Hebrew lettering, it gives a picture of when God said He blesses. It actually gives a picture of God kneeling down before the person that He is blessing, and it is an honoring of the person. So it is an act of humility, and in that act of humility and showing humility to one another, it shows there is a need. That shows that there is an openness to receive as well. And unfortunately, for many of us, it's both male and female. We've gotten into the places we're so self-sufficient, um, and in that self-sufficiency, that is fostered pride. And to move out of that pride to a place of humility and openness, it's hard to do. But if you don't, then you can't. How are you going to receive?
You
You
can't
can't
live with
receive. There
nobody.
has to be
That's
there
not.
has to be some sense of openness or humility to receive. If you don't, you can't receive. An open hand can't receive, anything. A closed hand can't receive anything.
Yeah. You want to add
And
anything? I see we
yes,
have somebody else in the back, but go ahead.
Suzette, you said that women have been marrying working class men for years, and that is true.
Yes.
But what is different is that how we market ourselves and how we lord over that. We are a lot
Mm,
more boastful of what we've accomplished. That is the difference. It's not a difference that we're marrying working class men, because many men had to go to work, whereas that the women were sent to school.
right. This
That's
is
not
real.
new.
That's
But
real.
what is
That's real.
different is that we use it, and for lack of a better phrase, we weaponize it like we're somehow better. And this is something I had to learn, and God gave me the husband that I wanted and needed, but didn't know that I wanted, just like my grandfather. One thing about my grandfather didn't talk a whole lot. But when he did, he had something to say. So what that meant for me, for my husband, I know I can talk a lot. So what that means for me is I need to be quiet more and
Mm.
not speak over him. If it takes him, because he's thinking about everything he says, I don't need to jump in and think and say what I think he's gonna. I need to just be quiet and be patient, let him say what he needs to say. We women, because our minds are always thinking, particularly if we are in a profession where we have to think and speak, we don't know how to sit back and be quiet and be cute. I'm just saying.
Ooh, yeah, it's a jarring comment, but I hear you because I think that just goes to interpersonal skills. Whether I'm at a law firm or not, how I present myself when I meet the client for the first time, I can't, overtake the situation. I have to make myself small, if you will, so that they're comfortable with opening up and telling me what it is that that happened to them. And I
Mhm.
think sometimes we do leave that much needed skill set at work because you'll do it with your boss, and I'm talking about myself, and I'll do it with a client. So when we come home and our partner, our husbands or whoever needs that same tender care, we're not doing it. We're expecting a different type of interaction and reaction when it may actually call for what you're talking about, which is that soft reaction, which is my favorite word. I try to tell a couple of my homegirls is ask him, what do you think? And shut up. Don't say nothing else. Don't give him what he's supposed to think. Don't offer nothing else. Just say, what do you think? If he really matters to you and you've already voiced your opinion, what about closing the door on yourself, on your desires, on your needs, and say, wait, what do you think? And just listen, not listen and hear to quickly respond, but to hear out where he stands. And I think, and I'm learning to practice this, help me, God. I'm not perfect. But I hear you, sis, because oftentimes we drop that sensitive communication when we walk into a relationship. Why? I don't know. Because that's the main person that needs that sensitivity and that empathy and that compassion. All of a sudden, we fighting, and we think of that person as somebody in which we have to, dare I say, compete. Somebody help me. But I hear you, and just I don't know if I would say cute and quiet. Not my words, perhaps. You can say it.
Those are my words, and I mean everything I said. I
I
said
know.
what I said.
You back it up. Hey, everybody has their opinion here. But I do think
There's a time and a place for everything, and what I mean by that is
yes.
I don't have to. I don't have to. It's not necessary to tell everybody how smart I am, and my mother told me that. Especially, it's
Mm,
not important to tell. It's not important to tell everybody, particularly your man, how smart you are. Be quiet.
Mm.
And that's why I say that. And I'm going to tell you, we've been together for 3 years. I never knew that I could be in a relationship that there was no fighting.
Mm.
Wow.
We've had disagreements, but never any fighting. And it goes back to what Link said, is peace. It's peace, because I'm not competing. I don't have to show him how much I can get done, how smart I don't. And I have never, and I'm going to be honest, I have never in my life, my friends have said it, my family has said it, have never been as joyful and happy as I have been in this last 3 years. And I've been basically a housewife since May. And
Lord.
I never knew how great it could be. So yeah, I said, and what I love, and I'll be cute and quiet when my husband comes home. I sure am.
I think, listen, there's so many lessons and expectations that we have of the opposite sex. For some reason, when we get in that relationship, we can be sensitive to them in other circumstances. But for some reason, the person that we're at home with, that we sleep with, that we see day in and day out, we don't necessarily offer that much grace to. We expect some mind reading, not everybody. We expect a level of I don't know, I go understanding where I'm coming from versus let me hear where he is coming from, let me peep his needs as well as he is trying to figure out my needs as well, and not approaching it from, I don't want to use the word aggressive stance, but I would say maybe a non-empathetic stance for who you love, and you say you love what he's going through and where his mind, his body, his spirit is, as opposed to selfishness. And what we were talking about is basically, we're talking about arrogance, we're talking about not having humility, and selfish. And that's what happens, I think, when we live alone and we live for long periods by ourselves. We're not even aware of this sometimes. That's why I'm like, I gotta get around people. I know it's a pandemic, but I gotta get
around married people.
And yes,
my daughter,
yes,
I have a 27-year-old daughter.
Yes,
they've been married for 3 years, together for 5. And again, she didn't learn how to be a wife from me because I raised her primarily as a single mother. But she said, when she knew she wanted to be married, she started hanging around married friends, and that's all I got.
That's all right. We're gonna let you go. Let me get the favorite network. Thank you, TJ. Back again. She said, let me do a follow-up real quick since y'all up here. Hey,
hi.
The favorite network.
Hey.
What's up?
Can you hear me?
Yes. How are you?
I'm so good. I'm just over here taking notes.
Yes. How are you doing? Tell us what you're thinking about the conversation.
This conversation reminds me of the inbox I sent you. Remember, I had so much to say. And
you sent me by, let me just say it, several voice notes.
Yes.
Beautiful stories. Tell us about it. Yes.
And basically, Miss TJ just affirmed some of that. And so when she said that, I'm a paraphrase, when she said the alpha man shows up, the woman, we don't know how to fall back and react. And Brother Links just looked like he wanted to say amen, but he bit his lip. Okay. And remember, I inboxed that to you.
Yes.
And I've been trying. I'm 53 years old. I want everybody to know. So I'm speaking from some experience. I've been married before. And I used to go to Word of Faith here in Detroit, by the way. Yeah. Okay. I think his son went to Atlanta. So, but I just want to say that this reminds me, Steve Harvey said the same thing. Think like a woman, act like a man. I'm sorry, vice versa.
Think like a man,
act like a lady.
Yes.
And it goes to what Kevin Samuels was saying. It goes with what TJ just said. Why are African Americans, we're the only culture, it seems like the highly educated woman is causing a problem, right? And so it goes back to when a man comes home, he needs a soft place to land. He has to compete out in the world all day. He's not trying to come home and it needs to be.
And fight you.
Exactly.
I'll say it.
Exactly. And so when TJ just said, get around married couples, because this will help you get into that role that you want to fulfill, and everything like that. So I took some notes. I have to be honest. I used to wonder why my stepfather was cutting the grass, and because my mother would complain how he cut it. So he said, well, then you cut the grass.
No, this
I've
is the
seen,
problem. Good example. This
yes,
is the problem. Stop complaining about little stuff.
I'm here to tell you.
He's contributing. He's showing
Yes,
this is my part of making sure this household is taken care of.
yes,
And we still got a problem with the grass cuts.
I'm here to tell you.
That's
And
his domain. Shut up and go inside.
preach. I've seen married women go
Bring the
behind their
lemonade. How
husband.
about that?
You don't like the way he made the bed, you remake it. You don't like the way he cleans up or wash the dishes, so you go behind him and redo these things. You know, and so but I had so many notes and everything. But the other thing that I'm thinking of is when Steve Harvey was on Oprah way back in the day, 5 wealthy, not rich, wealthy Black women Skyped live on Oprah. 4 of them, they remained quiet and they listened. Steve could not get a word in edgewise with one of them. And he said, she said, why should I wait for a man to buy a house? And why should I wait for a man to start a business? He said, I never told you to wait. I have all these daughters and I would never tell them to wait to do any of these things. He said, what I'm trying to tell you is that if a man, when a real man shows up and he does not see where he is needed, he will go where he is needed, you know. And I've heard
Say
so
it again
many.
for the people in the back. Because I
Okay.
think what we get, and I've been just a little bit. I haven't watched a lot of other YouTube channels when it comes to like this pick me or pick Misha, they might call it.
Yes.
Foolishness. Or at least of the definitions I've seen of it, I don't think are healthy and serving women, Black women, women of color. But sorry to interrupt. But
That's
yeah,
okay.
the idea that wanting to be agreeable or not be right at every point in turn and overly corrective. And we think this is the thing, we think we're helping him. This is the thing. We think we got the answer and we have some sort of insight. And I think some women do mean it or intend for some of what may come across to the man as being henpecked, as loving. But that ain't loving. For many people, they need that space. They want to have a domain, or as Lynx is calling it, to be needed and to not be, kind of overridden in every aspect of their lives. Like you have to have, which I say, discernment in when to lead and when to follow. And I think that's an art. Again, we do it at work. But for some reason, those same life skills, when we apply them to the home front, we all of a sudden turn that off and turn into, like, I don't know, maybe the media expectation of what marriage is supposed to be. But the same tender love and care, the same understanding of one's needs, the same levels of communication and quietness gotta come forward. And I think that you're hitting home also a good point with that. There is a lot of miscommunication, and I think the single world that don't let us understand, because we're not around married people, it's not going to be a battle down to the T for every single thing. You got to walk away. You got to show love. You got to say respectfully, I disagree, but baby, go ahead.
If you study other cultures, you will see in Asian cultures, in Latin cultures, some African cultures, the women really do have the power. We don't have the authority, but we have the power to influence. Even before Christ was crucified, the person with the authority bounced off of his mate during pillow talk. What do you think I should do? When you watch the iconic gang lord movies and these things, those men, they bounce off of the woman. What should they do? In a lot of Asian cultures, the man is the one who voiced to the family the choice, but the matriarch made the decision
privately.
So Eastern culture, men and women know the yin and the yang. They know that God put something in the man, the woman is lacking, and vice versa. And so they know we need each other. Like I said before, the 2 pieces of the puzzle are shaped differently. We come together and make a whole picture. We need each other. And so for some reason, I hate to say it, but the Black and white Americans, we uh it's a battle, it's a competition, and we're, I hate to say,
Let,
we're
let
not
me jump in.
equal,
Yeah.
we're uniquely different. And you know, and because I did I've worked with so many cultures here, and I just see how unfortunately the Black relationships, we're lacking in that. And I talk to a lot of women in their 30s, a little bit in their 20s, especially in their 30s, and I'm just letting them know, like
Yeah.
TJ said, is
Yeah.
true. Let him, when you're dating, if possible, see if he'll take out your trash or pull your trash can in, or there's things that you can see if this is in his nature to do it, and allow him to do those things. And when you have this man show up, if he wants to open doors and pull out chairs and pay for something, allow him to do these things. And I say this all the time subconsciously. I shared this with Suzette. I still have the article in Essence magazine from the 80s, and it said that Black Americans, we're subconsciously, we're raising our daughters and we're spoiling our sons. And it's only because, and I've said this before, our husbands were ripped out of our homes in Africa, our sons, our nephews, and our brothers. We come over here, same thing happens again. We lost so many to all the wars, Vietnam and everything, drug addiction, gang violence, prison, and everything. And so there's a lot of reasons why you mean no harm. You're raising your daughters. This is why we weren't taught that, Suzette. You raise your daughters to be able to stand self-sufficiently if they needed to. Um, and we just took it over the top, and we're on automatic pilot. And just in case you don't, until you find your suitable mate, you can make it on your own, and you are self-sustainable in these kind of things. And so, what parent would not equip their children to reach their full
But you're gonna
potential?
have to switch.
Thank you.
This is
Exactly.
the thing.
Yep.
God help me. God help every person who says they want a relationship. If you come out with that, I think it was Gaston's World. Shout out to Gaston's World if he's in here. Gaston, get on up here if you're dressed and ready to go. He loves to talk about this. We've had some, and I've only met Gaston through YouTube Elementary, through TLA, and he's been awesome. Gaston talks about that, and we've had deep conversations about that where he's like, Black women, I don't want to put words in your mouth now, but have been in survival mode.
Mm-hmm.
But when it's time to stop surviving, we can't switch. And I'm making a broad generalization. That's not every Black woman everywhere, every time, every moment. But for a good swath, if we're not careful, we're going to take survival mode into a marriage, into a relationship, and it will destroy it because you're not on survival mode when you have hopefully that person that has your back. And
That's
we can't sometimes switch it off or understand when and if it's appropriate. I think Abigail, hey, Abigail Cousins in the building, had a beautiful stream about her experience surviving sexual abuse. Check it out. She wrote about, every emotion a woman have. You don't need to tell your man it. Ooh, y'all mad. You might need to process it with a homegirl. You might need to process it with a different, friend. But having your husband does not necessarily mean he is everything to you all the time. Help us all, Lord. Because we have high expectation when we finally get that man, when we finally get that woman, we're like, ooh, they done solved every problem ever for our lives. No, they haven't. They have their own sentient being. They have needs. They have emotions too. They might not be ready to talk. Maybe they want to talk. Maybe they want to walk in and just be quiet for a minute. Maybe they have to. Women have this thing everybody knows, or maybe most of us know. We download our day. We want to tell you everything that happened today as soon as we get through the door, and we just got to tell you. Maybe we got to pause a little bit first and read the temperature, because we do it when we're at work, when we walk into a boardroom, when we walk into a meeting, we read the temperature. But for some reason, when we come into our household, we want to pick and choose which sides that we bring with us, and sometimes it's not the side that's serving us the best. So it's not a critique. I say it to say, let's be more self-aware. Are you in survival mode when you deal with your significant other? Are you?
exactly.
Are you leaving space for them?
Yep.
How do you speak to them and when? Are you asking, what do you think? And quiet. And truly listen to what he's thinking. how open to a graceful heart are we? Are we always right because we got the degree? I hope not. I'm not like that. I know so many of my girls are not like that. I hope in the relationship space. But we have to be aware the personalities that we're bringing with us that serve us when we're in survival mode, serve us when we're in work mode, may not serve us. Like, you quiet, bro. Auntie Faye got me hyped. Faye got me hyped.
I know I'm just listening, and it as I hear the what it all it to me what it circles back to is a humility that we need to show towards one another. There is an understanding that we are not showing towards each other. How I look at understanding. Understanding is, to me, two people having standing on the same level. One person is not standing above the other person and speaking over the other person's head. Another person is not standing below and speaking below them, but you have an understanding, and then you are able to see, speak, and hear each other and see each other eye to eye and have an understanding. And in that, there is humility that takes place. Pride cannot thrive if you in any relationship. Pride cannot thrive. There's another thing. I mean, that there's a lot of stuff that we have. There's a lot of trauma that has gone on in our community, from our families that we have not processed. There's a lot of unforgiveness that we have. That a lot of us, because of that unforgiveness, you can't be open to something else. You are when you have that unforgiveness, you are perpetually stuck in that place of where an offense is taking place in your life, and at some point you may have shelved it away, put it away, but you are still operating out of that place. In our lives, pain is what is common to our lives is pain. Pain is common to the human experience, but your response to pain determines how you can thrive, or how I say it, pain will do one of two things in your life. Pain will either perfect you or pain will pervert you. And it's your response. I can go into the gym and I can lift weights and I know that I'm going to be hurting. But if I don't take the time to rest and take care of how I've hurt, I can't go in and overwork myself. I did this to myself. I haven't been back in the gym in a while. I got in the gym and I could barely press 100 and something pounds. I couldn't even press 100 pounds. By the time at the end of the year, I'm pressing, I'm hitting 300 something pounds, and my pride got to me, and I'm like, okay, let's see how much. And I did something to my shoulder, and I didn't deal with that pain, and I still have that issue, and I now live with that issue because I did not process or handle that pain properly. And that's a lot of times that we don't do, and we carry these things into our relationships, into our interpersonal, connections and with each other. We don't forgive. We don't let go of the pain.
And we're currently punishing who is in our lives for who caused the pain back in the day. That's a word in and of itself. I'm gonna let Faye make her final comment. Sunbreeze says she gonna cut the grass together. I don't know about that. Let the man cut the grass, bro.
Right.
Yo, stay inside. Oh my goodness. Go ahead, Faye. Finish your point. Thank you. And I want Gaston's World is in the back. We're gonna have him up next. Go ahead. Sorry.
I'm a co-sign for, is it Chicago Rilla? Did I say it correctly? Okay.
Yes.
I'm familiar with him on some other streams. I want to affirm what he said to you, which is what I learned, the difference between your passion and your gift. Your passion, for an example, I could love flowers, but they all die. Or I love to sing and I can't carry a tune, for an example. Your gift will make a way for you. Your gift will make your way. And that's what's happening with you, Suzette. Your gift is it's making a way for you. And I just want to thank you for bringing this conversation to the table. And I'm just going to keep supporting you.
Thank you. I appreciate you. You can come up anytime. She gives me feedback, showing love over there on Instagram. I appreciate you so much. Hit me with a super chat. I thank you, love. Thank you so much. And I appreciate your wise comments here and sharing your insight and your experience. I'll see you next time.
Okay,
Thank you so much, Boo. All right, beautiful. Take care. Bye. All right, I'm gonna bring up Gaston's world, and we want you to finish this story. And they're like, Sue, let him finish this story. So
we
gotta get to the wedding. We gotta get